Learn and Lab Watch Along number 5. Izayoi versus Amane. I've already taken my notes as usual, so let me bring those up. Apologies if my voice is a little shot. UMAD was this last weekend, and my voice is very dead from yelling the entire event. So I'll try to keep it clear still. Anyways, getting right into it. Good stuff. Starting here again, give you another second to quickly look, and then we're moving this off screen again. Come on. There we are. Good stuff. At 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I was starting to use throws in pressure and stance cancel better. This is just... Let me also lower the volume a bit. Yay, look at that. Jab, jab, dash, throw. This is very basic stuff that you need to know like when to apply, but also mechanically it's something that you should know why to apply it. The reason to obviously throw is if you think they're going to be blocking all your mix, so you've got to find other ways to open them up. Throws are unblockable, cannot block you throw, so that is something good to be testing out. And these are good things to have in muscle memory, regardless of what character you're playing. Next thing, I said good conversion with the 214D teleport when I was in the air at 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Yeah, that is pretty nice. I like that. I still look at that and I like that. That was good. Getting a knockdown just from stray hits like that is really good. Immediately after that, I said good attempted air throw. That pressure was also good. And also just being able to chase into air dash is something that's pretty good with Izayoi because she has a very, very good air throw. If I switch to... Here we are. Switching to the hitboxes, we can take a quick look. Air throw has a very demonic hitbox. That is a very, very good hitbox to have on an air throw. So, that's also something good to mention. Okay. Next thing I have, playing more reactively and getting to a playstyle I like. This ultimately depends on what game you're playing and how much it can favor playing reactively versus playing actively. I think at a pretty high level, BlazBlue definitely favors playing slower neutral than you would expect of an anime game. I think people usually expect characters to nonstop be flying around, but you watch good Ragnas and good Jins play, and they slow the game down to their pace very much. So I'm getting closer to a playstyle I think I enjoy, and it's also a nice slower playstyle. Other things I put down here, testing answers to pressure, testing different answers to pressure, even if it's not the best answer. This is something that if you watch this VOD, you'll see me a lot of times when Amane is doing 5D, JD pressure. I tried a few different answers throughout this set. And I was glad that I kept trying different answers because I wanted to figure out within the set what worked. Afterwards, I got some answers, which I'll go through in a second. But when you're learning a matchup, don't always focus on just winning. Sometimes figuring out what's going wrong and how to adapt is great. And if it prevents you from losing quicker, that's still a good thing. All right. Jumping down to combo stuff, just really quick callouts again. In this set, I started noticing that there's going to be a list of characters where the mid-screen route from JC and Gain Arts, which is usually JC, 5C, 2C, or JC, 5C, 236B, 214B, 5C, 2C, 16C. That last part with the 5C, 2C, 16C is not universal unless you're in the corner, I believe. So, I didn't adapt to it in this set, but I have adapted to it like since. If I notice that route doesn't work, there's a very simple route that just goes 5C and then JB, JC, JB, JC, which is also, it's a good route. You lose a little bit of damage, but it still gets you the confirm and the knockdown, and that's what really matters. At 5 minutes and 33 seconds, I called out on combo routing that I started using. Let's see. Oh, this is something to work on. Is there a more optimal DPRC pickup? So that's pretty good. Like, at least getting a knockdown with a little extra damage from a DPRC is good. But I should try to figure out what's the most damage I can squeeze out of that. And I'm going to put down another note. More optimal DPRC conversion in gain arts and normal mode. Okay. And then the other thing in combo stuff I put down was work on getting higher success rate with the hard knockdown normal mode routes. This is something that's just always an ongoing thing with Izayoi. Like, depending on your starter, let's go to like a start of a round here. Let's go back a little bit. Here we go, start of the round. So with this starter, I did 2A, 2A. Scroll back a little bit. 2A, 2A, 5B, 5C, 236B. This is not going to give me a hard knockdown anymore because I've put too much filler in there. If I went 2A, 2A, 5B, 236C instead of 5B, 5C, 236B, I could get the hard knockdown, but because of that, I know here that in my routing, I'm going to have to do the soft knockdown ender. So we get the soft knockdown ender. Or the air tech ender, more accurately. Which again, this is not always great. I would usually prefer that hard knockdown mid-screen, but this is what we have to take. So just adjusting routing quicker so I can get the hard knockdowns, or also just using things that are more conducive to hard knockdowns. If I get a B starter, like that almost always should convert into a hard knockdown. There shouldn't be a reason that I do not get a hard knockdown when I toss out a 5B or 2B starter. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about matchup specific things. At 43 seconds, it's the first instance of this, but how do you deal with Amane 5D and JD pressure? You see, I'm just fuzzy jumping, and it's not getting me out, but I'm not holding any mix-ups that could have come from that. But still, there has to be a better answer here, I thought. So, first thing I got after this set was actually a video that the user sent me here. And this is a very good video that talks about how you deal with stuff like 5D JD. Let me find a segment. Oh, let's see. Is that it? Here.
Mash 5B between the hop on this block string, and it won't work. Ragnar will get stuck.
So here, this video talks about a lot of different situations, and ultimately there are a lot of factors that go into how this pressure works. One of them is what follow-up he does here. Like, so this was not a D button. That has obviously different properties than 5D. But from 5D to JD, the level matters, how you're guarding it matters, and also your character-specific options matter. So, the short answer I believe I got from that video was that I can mash 5A between those if it is a level 1 drill. So, coming to Blaze Blue here, switching scenes, come on. Don't tell me you forgot where Blaze Blue is. There it is. Okay, coming to Blaze Blue. Let's just do a quick check. we'll play with the levels, and we'll just have him do those strings a few times, and we'll see which one works. All right. So right now, Amane is at level 1. So Amane, other things to know about Amane. This character has a very simple gimmick, being that his drills slowly get stronger as he uses them, and he has a few ways to like just build drill otherwise. I think this charges drill also. And then the higher the drill, the more damage it does, but also it does a lot of chip damage. You have to start barriering this character at some points because his win condition is getting you to block these and the absurd amount of chip damage you're going to take. For example, watch. If I do a level 1 drill, now let's go to level 2. Now let's go to level 3. Let's look at the damage that each of these do on block. So that's quite a bit for level 1. That's half of my character's name for number 2. And that is a quarter of my health for level 3. So that right off the bat, that's the most important gimmick you should know about this character is you will have to barrier a lot, and you also need to know where to barrier and where to challenge stuff. Sometimes just normal blocking that level 1 stuff is fine, because it doesn't do too much. Anyways, let's do the 5D JD pressure now. Let's see if I can figure out what it was leading into in the video, because maybe there's some timing I'm missing here. Oh, 5D into the fly, and I think that's it's an A move. Oh, there we go. Quarter circle A. Put my settings back on. 1 second. There you go. Okay. So with Amane, that is this is what we're looking for. So 5D, quarter circle A, JD. So let's quickly have him do that. And let me do that earlier too. See if I can get that any earlier. Now it looks like there we go. That looks like the earliest I can do it. Okay. Cool. Okay. So level 1, let's see what happens. So it looks like I can trade 5A there. Let's try again. I can win 5A there if I'm more deliberate. Nice. And let's also practice getting a conversion off that. These are other things that are good to practice here. Nice. Let's get a normal hard knockdown. Cool. Try again. Nice. Cool. Those are simple routes we can do. Other things we can obviously do in this gap as well. We can probably DP this. Let me buffer that better. Oh, I charged it. Oops. There we go. We can DP that. That's a pretty good response. I'm trying to do 623B, and this is what I kept getting blasted for, because I have to be very deliberate with it, and because of its startup, the head involves in the middle, so it's a tough input. Let's see if I can also just rising JA. Yeah, that works too. And if we fuzzy jump, we sometimes can get out. Let's crank up the drill to level 2 now. What is the name of it? Spiral. Okay. Nice. We can jab on level 2 also. Okay. Let's go to level 3. Let's do that again. And we also should start burying these now. Looks like I can mash that too. And the other thing here, as we can see right there, is barriering these is really good as well. Because now we're just far away enough to move out. And he has to use that to get back in. Oh, I'm trying to do some funny stuff, but you get the point. You can lab other stuff here to figure out what your character can do. But that's the basics, is FD to push away, and at the higher levels, when you apply an FD, you get pushed very far away. Look at this, we're full screen now. So, apply FD when you want to get him out. He can get tricky with how he's using it, and maybe he'll go like this, into that, as a way to catch you from further away. That from really far away if you like FD it. I guess that doesn't really help. That's his JA. So you have that. Oh yeah, he has this too. Maybe he'll get tricky with that. And then you'll go like, yeah, stuff like that. So he has ways to catch you regardless of what you're doing. But at a very surface level, you can jab the gap between those, again, depending on your spacing, and you don't always want to FD it. On the level ones, you can probably just block it, and then if he goes into that, just challenge with a jab and you get a conversion. When you want to start FDing it, just remember you'll be pushing him away, and then you can just take your turn back or go back to neutral earlier than you might expect. Cool. So I'm going to add some stuff to the notes here. FD versus normal block. And jab between that. And then watch out for how they adapt, because they have other ways to stop you once you're dealing with that level 1 stuff. And also, I'm just going to put down, look for resources. Okay. Next thing I was curious about, at 1 minute and 38 seconds, this is a really easy labbable one. What are the properties on Amane's dive kick, which is J2B? So I try air to airing it. I know it stops air momentum, but I don't know what other properties it has. So that's something we can just consult the wiki on. Let's go here. Find J2B under the command normals. Here we are, J2B. It's not an overhead. That's an interesting one. Has ways to catch rolls in the corner. Okay. Ambiguous cross up after ID. Yeah, that's what was killing me as well. Improvised fast fall. And the hitbox isn't as great as I thought. I should be able to kill this with a disjoint or even something that hits high when rising. I think my issue here when I was dealing with this is my button to attempt dealing with it was Izayoi JA, which if you see this hitbox is on the lower side of her normal. So I wanted something that hits up here so I can try to snipe this green. JB might work. This has a it has less of a disjoint than the Amane, so I should be able to trade with it here if I'm rising into him with JB. And JC has a funny hitbox on the backside, so possibly could catch with that. But again, challenging this move without a very good rising air to air is going to be tough. So maybe in these situations where I'm expecting a dive kick, I can move out of the way, or I can use air 63B, because this move is very good in the air. Okay. Cool. Let me put down a note. Need a high anti-air Doesn't have a disjoint. Okay. Another small thing to deal with here. 1353. Don't burst or OD under Amane's Drilloki. And this is something that goes for a lot of characters in this game. There are some setups that you can't get an easy answer out of by using burst or OD. So there I OD, and I still have to hold the mix because drill is extremely active. So even though I did that, the only way I get through here is by going into something invulnerable again, like continuing into Exceed Excel or going to a DP. But even then, Amane can just wait. This is so active, and he can just wait this out. So I've just got to hold what comes next, and now I don't have OD anymore. So that's just an important one. Works in more matchups than just Amane, knowing where's actually a good spot to OD versus bad spots. And the last thing I have, and this is going to be something that definitely comes up if I review this matchup again in the future, is figuring out Amane's dead zones. So, closing some of these. Amane's normals have some pretty noticeable dead zones. They have great range, but also some noticeable dead zones. Some moves don't have dead zones, like JB, but that's because that's a very important button, I think, for this character. This has a crazy good disjoint. Wow, but that's also a slide. So it's probably not super great because it's negative. Here, another pretty noticeable disjoint, but also a dead zone. This one, dead zone, dead zone, dead zone. Oh, not dead zone, whoops. These should all have good hitboxes. This one has a dead zone, yeah. Yep. Dead zone, yeah. Okay. So the goal in these matchups is finding the dead zone, and the dead zone usually looks like it exists on any C normal. So I think the goal when playing against this character is to play at a range that's outside the C normals if you can't contest these. Or play at a range that is outside of the B normals, so Amane doesn't have a great advantage with his pretty good B normals. And moving into a range where C normals will catch you and make Amane commit to those. Because once you're in the C normal range, then you can weave through, find the dead spot, and you get very big punishes. And these have a lot of recovery is the thing. Like, let's go down to like 1C. Like, wow. That has an enormous amount of recovery if this whiffs. 4C, pretty sizable amount of recovery. 6C, a lot of recovery. These moves are very good, but they also aren't insanely fast and have a lot of recovery. So if you're able to weave into the dead zone, oh my gosh, this is wild. If you're able to weave into the dead zone, you will have a very good time against this character. Because look, his B normals are good. They cover a lot of space. They have pretty good red hitboxes on them. Not all just hurt box. So getting him to commit to a range where he has to use C normals and playing around there is something Izayoi can definitely do. I can definitely sit back at a good range and throw fireballs and make him want to commit. So that's just, let's see, adding some more to my notes. Okay. And now down to general ideas, the last part of what we have here. Work on spotting how people react to pressure in GA. Throughout this VOD, Amane plays like pretty patiently when I'm on the offensive. So this is not only with GA, but also normal mode. I put down GA because that's, I think, the spot where Izayoi has to be very critical about her pressure. You can play very safe pressure and just build up stocks when you're in normal mode. But in GA, that's when you want to be getting the hits and opening people up. There, I messed up and I don't have RC. Ooh. Nice anti-air. Hey, good conversion. So I see right there, that's a good example too. So it looks like he's committing to doing 4-1-4 or 1-4-1. He, after the GA attack, blocks low, then blocks high, then blocks low again. There has to be a way I can exploit that. So smaller things like that are important to notice. If they're mashing, just got a frame trap. If they're fuzzy jumping, she has good ways to stop people here. You can frame trap startup or GA66BC. That air throw is very, very cheap when low to the ground. Blocking. I'd say stronger resets, check their 4-1-4, and then also throw, and then DPing, wait, fatal count. Cool. Okay. Last few notes I have here, big picture things. Like, this is something that's going to apply to any character, not just Izayoi, but in your pressure, where do people want to GCOD? And also understanding like the risk of extending pressure when GCOD exists. Very quickly, I want to get this topic out of the way also. How real is the 623C knockdown into 5D or GA, follow-ups, etc.? I've been living that out recently, but it varies. Ultimately, I think doing a 623C knockdown dash 2D lets you stay just barely above them in frame advantage, and you can start pressure, but it's not always a great advantage. But that's a quick thing I wanted to get out of the way. Lab out your knockdowns and setups is my comment there. Okay, big picture stuff. Where do people want to GCOD, and then what's the risk of extending your pressure when they can GCOD? So this is a quick one we can also just explain in game here. Let me switch cams back. There we are. Okay. So, let's switch this to Izayoi. Izayoi. I wish there was like a CSS screen here. There we go. Okay. So, when people GCOD, they usually want to do it on a B or C normal. Let's do this. This is an extremely safe dumb pressure string that works pretty effectively on a lot of people. So I can catch that with a very big call out. But like reacting to that is tough. Let me see what else I can get here. Can't get it with that. I've got to do like a very quick call out. So this is a pressure string that's pretty damn safe. Really tough to deal with. So, if I know they're going through safe pressure, but they're pressing some high commit buttons like B's, C's, some specials, that's where GCOD comes in. And now we get our own knockdown. Look at that. So, knowing where... Oh shit, didn't give me my burst back. Give me that back. Okay. Knowing where people want to do this is really important because this changes how I have to pressure. I can't always do this same string now because even if they can't punish it with normal options, they can start changing out when they're going to use guard cancel overdrive like that. So, knowing where people want to use guard cancel overdrive against your character is important because it also informs your pressure structure. Like, you can't always commit to heavier things because of the risk of getting guard canceled on and then blown up. Okay. I think that's all I had for today. Thanks for watching. I'll clip this up and post it. All right, goodbye.